Time now is 8:51, and that was Kyle Kalinske from the Secular Talks news channel. Now we go to Larry with some commentary. What do you think?
Yeah, Kent, I thought all along that Bernie Sanders should have been phrasing his
Yeah,
programs differently because, what we just heard is correct. What he should have been doing all along, and I don't know if it's too late now to erase that image they've been painting of him as a big radical. He should have been couching it this way, framing it this way. For instance, like, is getting a better deal for you extreme? Is getting better health care for you extreme? Is making the ultra rich pay more extreme? And is protecting Social Security
right,
extreme?
right,
This is what they should have been doing all along because his intensity worked well for him, Bernie's intensity. But
right,
yet, he didn't address directly the Democratic Socialist label that they transformed into this image of him being this crazy radical.
right.
And so if he could turn that around now, maybe now Michigan is going to be vital for him too, because if if Biden wins Michigan, then it's a much tougher road for Sanders to recover. And again, as we heard in that report, the inroad for Bernie there is to talk about all the jobs that were
Right,
lost
right,
under the
right,
Biden, Hillary, Obama regimes. And Bernie is approaching this completely differently, more so than Trump, he could be saying, bringing jobs back here and putting out the Democrats who allowed the jobs to leave to begin with,
right.
especially in the Detroit area.
So, I mean, so he should stop even calling himself a social democrat. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
that's
mean, they're
that.
going to
Get rid
continue
of that
that.
label.
They're going to
Yeah,
continue that, but he should play that down. And if
right,
he's asked
right,
about that, say, well, what's your definition of a social democrat? Is it a crazy radical or somebody
right.
who's trying to get a better deal for the people? Roosevelt, a square deal, a better deal. This is a type of populist rhetoric
Right.
that he should have been using all along.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, this guy Kolinsky was right about the polls in terms of what Bernie's policies are in tune with the middle America. Really, I mean,
Right.
it's not.
Yeah, it's just that he's got it articulated differently because most people are not that sophisticated and
Right.
able to counter a lot of these false arguments that the Republicans and the other Democrats, the establishment Democrats, are throwing out against Sanders.
But I mean, do you think he has the Bernie has the what the aggressiveness and guts to go after Biden like he's going to have to? I mean,
See, that's
he's
it. In one way, he's been too gentlemanly
right.
about this,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I don't know if he's going to start turning that around. And also now, a big factor that I think is going to be increasingly in play here is Biden's mental
Oh,
capacity.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to tell you, like last night, getting ready for the show this morning, I watched all those tapes of his goof, his lapses and all that, and it
Yeah,
is really devastating. I mean,
yeah,
I ended up feeling a little bit sorry that the Democrats were putting this guy out there and just using him, really, you know?
exactly. He's being exploited until he's no longer
Exactly.
useful. And
Yeah,
then is he going to be tossed aside soon after being elected or even at the nominating convention if he breaks down even more? See,
yeah.
again, I think there's a plan B afoot here that they're keeping at
You
least in
do.
reserve,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
depending on what shape Biden is in by the time they get to the nominating convention.
So I mean, what would you speculate that plan B might be? I mean, that's interesting.
Well, I'm thinking that, if the mental impairment becomes more obvious,
Right.
they may make some excuse where it's some other health issue and he's stepping aside for the good of the party, and then they bring in the candidate that they really want. Now, whether that'll work at the last minute with the public that's already been voting for Biden, I
Right.
don't know. It's a tricky situation all around here, but
Right.
I think, it's a very unsettled situation here, especially whether Sanders could recover at this point.
Well, who do you think is the candidate that they want? They being the, Democrat officials and
Well,
establishment.
there's all kinds of wild speculation. I don't know who they might come up with. So, would it be Klobuchar, some woman that would be acceptable to the general public? I don't think it would be Warren. You know, there's a
Right.
lot of wild talk about bringing in Michelle Obama, Oprah, somebody
Oh,
like that.
really?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's
Wow.
wild
Yeah.
speculation.
Yeah.
I'm not on board with it, but in this
Yeah.
crazy election season and in
Yeah.
these extreme times, who knows what's possible?
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, plus there's a theory out there that Trump is going to is put Mike Pence in charge of the coronavirus stuff so we can get rid of him later, and he's going to
Especially if it goes bad, he could blame
it goes
Pence.
back. He's going to bang
And
Pence and bring in the woman who was the Haley, who was the UN ambassador.
yeah,
Uh,
she throws out a lot of red meat for the
right.
conservatives. She's
Exactly.
pretty
Yeah.
popular with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a very unsettled situation, and with Biden now, they have to be very careful how they handle it. Trump is making fun of him already, saying that they'll put
Oh
him in a
yeah.
home
Yeah.
if he
Right.
gets elected, and other people run the country. But when
Exactly.
it comes to the debates now, Trump has to be careful not to ridicule him too much because the senior citizen vote is not going to like that, and even the younger people won't
Yeah.
like picking on an infirm old man.
Yeah.
And the Democrats have to be careful too. Sanders has to be careful the way he criticizes him. And of course, as we said before, Sanders has been reluctant to really take the
Go
gloves off.
after him.
But
Right. Yeah.
but the Biden senility situation has to be very carefully handled,
Yeah.
not to have it blow back on those who are
Yeah.
criticizing
Yeah.
Biden.
All right, sir. Well, have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right,
Take
Ken.
it easy. Bye
Bye.
bye.